More than a that, more than a that.
Join the More Than a Dad family by following us on Instagram, subscribing to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to join our Facebook group for daily questions, motivation, dad jokes, and new dad tips. If you enjoy our podcast, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Be sure to like, comment, and share our content with other parents. Last but not least, make sure you check out our new merch. The link is in the bio of our Instagram as well as the description of this YouTube video. We are truly grateful and thanks for supporting More Than a Dad.
Welcome to More Than a Dad podcast. I'm your host, Dre Moore. I got my guy, Lewis Mobley,
What's good?
here in the building with me. And it's just us today, you know what I'm saying? I know we drop a lot of episodes with guests and all of that. I know y'all enjoy our guests, but I know y'all enjoy us too. So it's just us. I got my guy here. You know, just gonna have a regular conversation. We want y'all to come along with us. Now we gotta get caught up, you know what I'm saying? I've been out. I had COVID. I was down. COVID is real. I thought it was sweet.
Man, we had to push the pod back like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it got crazy, man. COVID had me down for like 3 weeks, man. It was like real. I missed Christmas and all that. I couldn't even open no gifts for the kids and none of that.
Yeah, that's ugly. Let's talk about that. You was down for New Year's and Christmas. How was that quarantining and not being able to be a part of Christmas?
It was terrible, man. It was like horrible. It was like 23 and 1, man. I don't commit crimes and stuff, so like I don't gotta go to jail. Like
More Than a Dad does not condone violence to be locked up 23.
I'm just saying that John had me locked down. I couldn't even come out, man. Ash was like trying to come in the room and mess with me. He'll put his mask on. Like, but I got my mask on. Like, man, listen, now this like the plague. The mask ain't helping right now. You back up, cuz. But yeah, like he was everybody was happy to see me once I came off quarantine.
Y'all don't get it, man. I called Dre one day. He sounded like a zombie. He sounded like a dead person. I'm like, bro, what is up with you, man? I just think I'm tired. Yeah, tired don't sound like this, bro. You work that overnight. You always sound tired. Your voice sound a little. You sound like you about to transform. You about to bite somebody and
that joint was different, bro. Like I had the chills, the fever, the sweats, the congestion, the shortness of breath, like the fatigue was like craziest, but it was a bad job, bro. We back.
You know, it's sad though, man. So you ain't even get to watch the kids open nothing. You bought them.
Nothing at all. Yeah, nothing at all.
Bro, that's crazy to think like that. You just gotta erase one Christmas out of your memory. You didn't participate.
Yeah, my mom was actually saying like, man, we gotta redo Christmas for you. Like we gotta have like a re-Christmas because you missed Christmas. I was like, man, I'm cool off that. I ain't doing that.
Bro, you only get as many Christmases as you live, so you down.
I plan on making it the next Christmas. So if I don't, then, you know what I'm saying? They just listen. Y'all gonna have to remember 2 Christmases ago.
No, man, a lot of things have happened that I wanted to just rap with you about, man. Like on Instagram, they had is it appropriate to buy your son a kitchen set talk? You know, I wanted to talk to you about what's your takes on that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know how they made it like a boy girl thing with kitchen sets. Like cooking is a natural, essential thing that you need to survive. Like if you don't eat, you can't live. How are we condemning a boy having a kitchen set? Like that sounds crazy to me.
So let me just give you my perspective. So my wife gonna tear me up if she hear this. So
Ew. You gonna say he's soft, cuz?
No. I was saying that. So my son has now had like 3 kitchen sets before this was even an issue. She actually just bought him a new one for Christmas.
Right.
But he has had them like is my son 3.5, right? So like when he had them before, he wasn't interested in them, right? And that was like, well, he's a little older. He does play with the one he have now, But we have a daughter now, so we can pass it down. But he has, she's always getting new toys and cycling through toys. Like toys in my house switch out like every 3 months. Like she be like, man, I ain't seen him play with Woody. He out. Like he just ain't make the cut. Like we got
just toss Woody.
It's like a roster, bro. She like a GM of the toys.
like real life Toy Story. They done pack Woody up and put him in the box.
Bro, this is like real life that's happening. Anyway, but long story less long, I used to have resistance. I'll be honest. I'm a football player. I'm all these things. Like I didn't grow up playing with kitchen sets, right? So like it was in my head. You don't get my man some Iron Man and Hulk, like you don't get my man some.
About to catch a domestic over the kitchen set.
Yeah, and I just had to stop because I always remember like I cook. My dad taught me, make sure you learn how to feed yourself and all these things. So I just had to let it go, and I'm happy I did because now year and a half later, it's a whole thing on social media. Oh man, my son will never play with a kitchen sets and all. I'm just like, y'all are crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Like, but on the other end, would you let your daughter play with like what's the other one with the tools and all that? Like the saw.
That's what she was into. Because they never discriminate against that, bro. Like it's one-sided. It's really one-sided. If your daughter went outside and picked up a basketball and wanted to play basketball, they would never take the basketball from her, bro.
Right.
They would never do that. They would never say, you can't play with this. Like it would never be like she can't play with the action figures.
She can't play with the Black & Decker tool set though, with the drills.
I mean, nobody. If she picked it up and decided that she wanted to play with it, they would never say nothing. Like you got a boy and a girl in your house. So even if say you bought the kitchen set for Osa, and Manny was just over there playing with it, they would shun that. Like, how you gonna let him go over there and play with that? If Osa just rolled over and picked up Iron Man, you're not gonna be like, man, put Iron Man down. You're not gonna do that.
That's a fact.
Like they never. It's so one sided that it's crazy. It's not even.
You know why?
It's not even a real thing, bro.
Not even in like get down this little rabbit hole, but like I think, like say like you said the basketball example, right? Say your daughter a little tomboyish. I just think it's a lot like that term even makes it soft and acceptable, right? Like it's just
exactly.
It's just not acceptable when a boy is on the other side of that, right? It's just not.
But that's not even something that's far left.
Like cooking is not far left. We all eat every day, right?
Right. It's not like he came out the room in a tutu. He just cooking. It's just that's regular. That's something essential you need to live. If your daughter wanted to pick up the Black & Decker thing, man, it's women out here like we have single moms on the show. What if she want to change a flat? I'm out here. I'm stranded. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like a woman probably don't want to be on the side of the road changing the flat, but if she got the skills to do it,
it's
saying nothing about it.
Know something real random? I thought of this. I recently followed some lady. She was like a licensed electrician. I just thought it was the dopest thing that I never seen. Just talking about things you never seen.
Right.
Like that shock value in that is like, yo, I got my own LLC. I do it like, what I mean? I never seen that before, so I just followed her, threw her follow, because that shit it was hard. What I mean? It was tough.
Right.
So,
that's a fact. But that's the reality. Like it's even shock value. Like if you was just riding down the street and you like looked over and seen a chick out there with the jack busting down, changing the flat, you like, oh, that's different. But she might essentially need to do that to get to wherever she might not have AAA. She might not have no man around that could do it.
Yeah.
She might not. I'm stuck. What I'm gonna do? So like, if the kitchen set is gonna open his mind to the stove, why we're not doing that? That's weird. Like it's over. You know how everything is. It's over sensitivity. It's over thought about.
I tell you what though, Manny go in the refrigerator and like the other day he went in the fridge. First thing is the kids go in the fridge and don't close the fridge is my biggest pet peeve, right? Or
kids, wow, they don't close the fridge.
Like they just don't have the concept of like the fridge needs to stay cold, so shut the door. He don't have it. So anyway, I be cooking. Sometimes I try to incorporate Manny in cooking. So does his mom, and he got a kitchen, right? So I came down one day. I said, Manny, what is that? Manny was cracking eggs on the counter like I was to make breakfast.
In the kitchen set?
No, on my counter.
Oh, on your counter. Ew.
He was cracking eggs.
Right.
but we
You
waste.
you shouldn't be right because you ain't about to cook these joints and it's gonna cost us some bread.
But the egg, like in the yolk, is like just on the counter. You know, we had to hit it with the bleach and kill all the.
But
You know what I mean?
You opening his mind to something.
So the minute he unsupervised, he gonna go through a dozen of eggs. You know how much eggs cost?
I mean,
I sound cheap, right?
no, then you need to put a lock on the fridge.
Oh man,
You know what I'm saying? Old school tactics, cuz.
I heard dads and stuff say that, but I never seen it really happen. But
Yeah, you get the
the little latch.
yeah, we used to have latches on. Did we have a latch on the fridge? I think we did have a latch on the fridge. I think Ash broke it.
Oh,
We had a plastic one. You can't. The plastic is no good. We had a plastic John. He definitely like, man, I'm getting through that. Because when you want what you want, you want what you want. But I mean, like, and that's. I'm glad that you brought that up because I wanted to actually talk about like setting expectations for your children and things of that nature. Like living, like some people live through their kids,
Ooh.
and you know how much pressure that is to be putting on a child.
So I feel like this, we could talk forever about this, but one thing this makes me think of, just kind of off topic, but I'm gonna share with everyone. So like playing sports in the neighborhood, right? Just growing up, I want to be a football player. I want to be a basketball player, and I talk to my wife about this all the time. Like the kids not our saviors, you
Right.
know, they're not here to save us. But I remember everybody playing football and basketball. Like I'm gonna buy my mom house and get her out the hood.
Right.
And I was like, and you know, and then you got other guys who are in the streets, and I'm doing this to help my mom, and it's just all this extra responsibility that these kids don't grow up and get to be kids, right? And then you even have like the dads that are overbearing, living their former
Like,
heyday
right, through their kids.
through their kids, and you know, one thing that we try to do was just I expose Manny to everything. I don't know if you guys like watch on Instagram, but I used to do, and I still do, like just man, let's just make a car out of cardboard. Let's make a car out of a cardboard box. So like, you know, we playing soccer, or we doing golf, or we fishing, or you know, I just try to do as many random things with him so we can even see what his interests are or what he might say, can we do again?
Right.
You know, but it sucks, like, because I know parents who do this. Like, they weren't successful at football. Well, I know what to do with my son.
Right.
I know the train. No, you don't. You ain't get there. How you gonna keep telling me if I didn't have kids young, I would have been this? Like,
Right.
we don't know that for a fact.
How you gonna implement the technique?
You know, if you know, the moon and the stars would have had to align for you to make it to the professionals. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, and that was just common in sports. That was like one of my easy analogies for this,
Right.
because I feel like in sports, you know, it always become, if your dad played ball, it's all this pressure on you to play ball. You know what I mean? Like Michael
Right.
Jordan's son, like when he was playing, he had no chance, you know, to be where his dad was, and it's like that's hanging over his head because of who his pop was to the game.
Exactly.
You know, so like, I don't know. I just think,
And if your kids find it organically, then it's okay. Like if that's just like you talking about, like we talking basketball, you talking like Steph Curry, and Steph. And of course they pop. Dell played in the league and they was around, they pop. But you could see them excelling in that way. I don't know if he pushed them to, I mean, they don't talk about it in a way like they dad made them hoop. It was more so, this is what my dad was doing and we was around and we liked basketball.
right.
And that's different than saying like, yo, you gotta be the next Mike. Or you gotta do this. Like, you have to do this because I did this, or because I want you to do this. Even if it's not sports, if it's anything, like you want to make your kids be a doctor. I might not want to be a doctor,
Right.
but I want you to be a doctor. So like, you're gonna go to this school, you're gonna do like you could be forcing your kids to do something that they hate, and people won't even. And then you get so caught up in that, the kid be wanting to impress the parents so bad that they don't even tell them, like, yo, I hated this my whole life. My whole life, you made me do this and I hated it. And I probably hate you for it.
I think Blackie Chad shared a story with me about like him being in the library up in college, and he was saying that it was like I want to say like a Middle Eastern person there to like take up some type of medical field stuff, like a doctor of health or something, right?
Right.
And he was like, I'm studying for tests. We have tests like every 2 weeks, and it's very tough and it's strenuous, and this is why my family sent me here to do this. And he was like, asking Black, like, what do you go to school for? And he was like, I go to school for communications. He was like, what's that? Yeah, I work in media, radio, this. Oh, wow, that sounds really interesting. It sounds fun. He said, my parents would never pay for me to come get a degree in that.
That's right, and that's the reality of it. Like you can't chase your dream. You can't do what you want to do because you're living somebody else's dream.
Right.
And things like that can not only be detrimental to the kid, it can be detrimental to your relationship with the kid. Because like I said, somebody will turn around and hate you for that.
Just think about it being so forced, right? Like, using football as an example, guys, because that's what I played. Imagine me putting Manny in football from, Pop Warner and Little League all the way through and training him all vigorously, introducing him to weightlifting and this wear and tear and this grind, and he don't even really want to do it. And then having this realization on why I'm even forcing him to do it, you look like a crazy person.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just no way to really be stimulating their growth by forcing them to be something, right? Like, my girl's into like all the, the dope degrees, the tech and the building robots and the, IT and all these things, all these things that are booming in our time, which is great.
Right.
But if Manny come up and he don't want to build robots, he don't want to build robots.
Yeah, you can't make him do it.
And that's kind of where I'm gonna stand at, and that's where I'm gonna stand firm, because it's, the kid is not gonna go for hard work, and they're gonna have to learn, but they also gonna have to be what they're interested in, right? And I think as a parent, I think this is my view. Whatever they want to do, I just want to help them find the best route to do it. Right? I don't really like, because I always use photography as an example. Great profession, freelance, whatever. But I know to be a great photographer, you may not really have to go to school for that.
Right.
So I'm not gonna say, hey, Manny, you need to go get a 4-year degree in some type of photography or art, and then just to come out here and freelance. No, we probably going to take a business course because you're going to have your own LLC.
Right.
We might go buy you some equipment, and then we're going to find out how to promote that you do photography.
Right.
You know what I mean? We might take a more express lane to that. But if he comes to me and say he wants to be a doctor and it's 12 years of school in front of him, he could do that too.
Yeah, and we're going to help you with that. But I'm never going to force you to do something that you don't want to do just because I feel like I want you to do it.
Right.
I understand that.
No, that's heavy, man, because you'd be surprised. It's such a real thing, man, because you got so many parents who become parents, whether it's early or they weren't prepared to become parents, and then you just hear, because, being a parent is sacrifice, right? That's just the God honest truth. It's just a huge sacrifice. But it's not in the consequence of the kid.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, so what? I had to stop chasing my fairy tale dream because I had to man up and be a parent. But that consequence don't fall on that kid lap. You know what I mean? You have to pivot. I think that's the biggest thing that we don't really say. It's not that it didn't work. It's not that you got to pivot, bro. Yeah. Hey, I wanted to be a musician. I wanted to be a rapper, singer. That ain't really paying the bills. I had a kid. Well, let me pivot to a music teacher, get a cert. And now I have a 9-to-5, and I can still do what I love technically.
Right, and make money.
Right. And I just don't think people are accepting of pivoting. It's okay to chase the dream. I want to be an actor. Well, cool, it didn't work. Now, can you teach theater?
Right. Sometimes it changes. It shifts, and that's the thing about being well versed and understanding life. It might not, like, if I put all my eggs in this basket and you done put all your eggs in this basket, and the basket break. Now what we gonna do?
You're in bad shape, man.
Yeah, it's a bad thing. Yeah, I think that it's important to just let your kids, let them do them, and you support them in what they do. That's just a real big thing. And another thing I wanted to touch on today was, and I feel like lately, we've had a lot of guests that talk about discipline, how you discipline your kids. So like I believe in a mixture of both. No, I do. Because like with Ash, it's still a lot of like physical. With Lil J, it's not so much physical. Because he's older. So like that's just my approach on it. Like I know people got hard stances on like I'm never gonna pop my kids, never touch my kids. Sometimes to me, like with Ash, like words don't mean nothing to me.
Right.
Not only is he like defiant at times, but he's just so young that like I'm just talking. I don't even know if he really understands it or even cares to understand it. Now, I feel like at a certain age, you shouldn't just be like going up top on your kids because like you shouldn't, bro. Because you're old enough to understand, like, you know, like, so like when I turned like, I was like 15 to 16, like, and my mom kept hitting me in the head for something. It was something, I can't even remember what it was. And she just kept hitting me in the head. But like now I'm like taller than her. I'm bigger than her. But like as she's saying it, like she's keep hitting me in the head. Like, you know how like parents are like hit you on every word they say. Mm-hmm. And she kept like hitting me in the head. So like we like in the kitchen, I'm like, yo, stop hitting me. And I guess like me saying stop hitting me to her was like more triggering. So she continued to do it. I'm like, yo, stop hitting me. So she continued to do it. So I just stood up. I'm taller than her. And I just kind of just pinned her to the wall. Like I kind of just held her there. Like, are you finished? Like, are you not angry anymore? Like, cause like I can understand. Whatever you trying to communicate to me is not getting communicated any better because you putting your hands on me. Mm. I can understand. I'm old enough. I'm of the age. I can understand what you're saying to me. I can comprehend it, and I can make a decision on whether I'm going to do the right thing or do the wrong thing. But I'm old enough to understand and comprehend it. So, like, I held her there. I mean, it didn't really go my way after that. After I let her go, she just went to go, like, pick up a bat and then continued to, like, hit me with that. But
we do not condone hitting children with bats on more than a bat.
Definitely was going crazy. But it would like because now her feelings was hurt. She was upset. Like, you think you grown, you gonna hold me to the wall and not, like I'm not even trying to hurt. I'm trying to stop you from hurting me. Mm-hmm. I'm not even trying to hurt you, but she felt small. But like I said, like at a certain point in time, at a certain age, as a child, yeah, you might need to hit me. I might have needed to get beat. I probably did need that, like, because you don't fear certain things. You don't respect certain things. You respect, like, man, I might have to come home and get a beating. You respect that as a kid. Mm-hmm. At a certain point, even as you become like you grow up, you respect that less. Like I'm not really fearful of like the teacher, like, man, I'm gonna call your mom and all right, it's a little beating. It's gonna sting a little bit. And get over it. You don't really respect it. What you respect more is like, I'm an adult. I'm not an adult, but I'm a growing person, and I got a brain, and I can like if you rationalize with me and make it make sense, then let's make it make sense. Don't just start teeing off.
I always talk about how I'm not patient, right? So like, I'm just not patient, guys, and it's like gotta be very honest about that every chance I get because I feel like that's the most relatable thing in parenting. Is like patience. Like, so with Manny 3, right? And I felt myself getting like real burnt out, like, and snappy. Cause you know, you repeating yourself over and over again. You don't know how to make him understand at his very young age of 3 years old. And I just realized I gotta dig in my patience bag because he ain't nowhere near the age where he really gonna be getting into stuff that's gonna be worth me to actually react. And I'm already just upset because I'm repeating myself where he did something, I got to get up and clean it up. Like, I seen a meme today, being a parent is a whole bunch of just sitting down and got to get right back up to fix something, you know what I mean? And I just, like, you don't realize them things make you, you know, agitated. You know, you keep repeating yourself. You sat down, oh, this fell, now I got to go get, you know, it don't really make for a calm demeanor.
Right.
So I try to be a more calmer parent, you know, because you know, initially it's like, you know, I'm his dad, I want him to be strong and all this stuff. And it's just like, it's none of that stuff even really fit the time we in right now at his age.
Right.
You know what I mean? Exactly. So I just let it go, you know, because initially it was like, well, I'm about to give him a pow when, but for what? For what? Like you trying to rationalize with somebody who really don't get it. You look like the crazy person because you know better, right? So I kind of left it alone. Now it's like he has to get to a really, really extreme level for me to even act like that. Like we was in Wawa the other day. I probably should tell you this, but we was in Wawa the other day. You know, Manny in there, he like opening up the candy. I didn't pay for what he asked me for what he want. He wanted juice, he wants some Oreos, he want whatever. I buy it. I turn around, Manny then got like the Tootsie Rolls at the bottom. I'm like, yo, like what are you doing?
Right. Now I gotta touch you up a little
Yeah,
bit.
you know what I mean? And I think this is the part that I had to like reel myself back in. So we go to the car, I'm carrying like all these bags. I buy food for everybody. I always buy food for everybody. So I'm putting them in the car and Manny's next to me, we in the parking lot. And Manny is just a little too far from me in my comfort. Like just say like 4 steps from me.
Right.
In a parking lot, he 3 big cars and SUVs all around moving. And I'm like, what are you doing? And I like yoke him up.
Right.
And he just being himself, Manny, always singing and dancing, which y'all see on the gram is how he really is. He's singing, dance, and be in his own world. And like, what are you doing? Like, but it's like, I yoked him up. He was scared a little bit, but I was scared because I wanted to have it with my baby. You know what I mean? But to me, I don't want to do stuff like that.
That's a fact.
You don't want to do stuff like that, but you have scenarios like that. Shit, I'm big as hell. Like, you can't be gripping them like that. Could hurt them. You know what I mean? You could,
right.
So you have to be more conscious. So I do believe, like, I was raised getting beat.
Right.
I don't want to be, I'm big, man. Like, I don't want to be, I got a daughter too now. Yeah. So you really start rethinking.
Right.
I try to, cause I don't want to raise them like that.
That's why it's bad being a big kid too, because like I feel like y'all got beat worse than we got beat.
Yeah, that's a fact. I got belts all the time. Like when people were still getting hands and power and timeouts and you on punishment, I was getting beat.
Yeah, no,
like,
that's a fact. Because like of course me and Wayne like grew up in the house together, and Wayne was like 3-4 times my size, and I just used to look at the way like they used to beat Wayne. like yo, that's way worse than they would never beat. They would never beat me like that.
Hey bro, I just had the illest thought in my head about like some slavery or something. Like yo, the way they did that, boy, they do me like that.
That's a fact. For one, I had the benefit of being light skinned, so like I'm a bruise. So like you gotta like approach me a little bit differently, and I'm smaller. But like the way they used to, I'm like, man, they don't even gotta like do cuz like that, man. That's like out of pocket.
You get beat like they moving on you in the streets.
Yeah,
man.
it was real deep. And I know we like walking down towards the end, so like before we get out of here, I just wanted to leave with like. Cause the thing that been like weighing on my heart and sitting on my heart, just because like I do, like have a kid, Dre. I'm not with his mom, and it's different when it's like if you a dad, right, and you got multiple kids by different women, they grow up differently than the kids that the woman has, and that's really a thing. Like, if you, like, your mom got you in mind, so like y'all really like brothers for real, but like, and y'all always like y'all always brothers, even if y'all have the same dad, y'all brothers. But like, when you got kids that share a dad but don't share the same mom, a lot of times they don't grow up together.
That's a fact.
Like. And that's just a thing that, like, that bothers me because I actually have a child that's, like, in that situation. Like, if his mom was to have another sibling, like, I would have a child, like, they would grow up more like brothers than, like, him and Ash would grow up like brothers.
It makes me sick. I'm sorry. I just was froze for a second. It make me sick to think that. But it's the reality of the custodial parent stuff. You know what I mean? When you start talking about who has the primary custody or who the kid lives with, and that's just most times it always goes to the woman. So that sucks, bro. And I never really thought about that. But when you hear people start talking about family's complicated, they only speaking about what dad has created outside that relationship, outside of that family dynamic. When you start hearing about it's complicated, it's messy, I got a whole nother set of siblings that we acknowledge or don't acknowledge, it be dad of the family.
Right. That's what it's never mom family is the family. Dog.
Yes.
That's just how it is. Mom family, that's the like that's those my brothers and sisters, but like those my brothers and sisters too, but they over there. They like my dad kids. They really don't.
Yo, ain't that nasty?
Yeah, it's nasty.
That's
bro.
nasty,
And that's
bro.
like they've been weighing on my heart that like somebody gotta do like we have to break that. Like I don't even know how. And like I try my best to, you know, keep my sons together,
Bro.
introduce them to each other, have them around each other, talk to them about one another, you know, get them to love one another and all of that stuff because like it's really a thing, dog. Like
It's just I don't know, man. I want to give the guys hope, but I just don't know how you get around. Like nobody's ripping. You know, I would never say like, yo, we gotta rip the kids from mom or whatever. Like, but it's just that's who naturally they default to the kids going to, right? So like, this is just a sore spot, and you know everything got consequences, bro. Like you know what I mean? Like I talked to you about a lot of things, man. Things have consequences, and I think you're better off working at like you're doing massaging a relationship. You know, you're gonna teach Dre. You call and you know when ask you the phone, call and check on him yourself. Like that's your brother. Like you know you're
call and check on me.
You're better off doing those things than trying to fight the systematic part of it. You know that's
because it's nasty. Like it's really like dad kids. Like that's just dad of a kids. But like when mom have kids by like she can have 4 baby dads and all her kids just in this house together. It's like, oh, you know, like they're my brothers and stuff. But the dads of a kid, like, oh, you know, they over there somewhere. Like we don't really rock with them like that.
You know what's sick? So like I don't even talk about stuff like this often, but like Manny got Osa, right? My daughter, you know, they're raised in the same house like you're speaking about,
exactly.
right? Manny got other siblings.
Right, that he probably never talk to. He'll never grow up with them. He'll grow up with Osa and they'll be tight their entire lives. They'll grow up forever. Even if, God forbid, you and Varnia wasn't together, him and Osa would still grow up together. His other siblings, we might never know them. We might meet them at like 18. And if I meet my brother at 18, like you not really like my brother.
You a stranger.
I done seen you 4 times my whole life or something.
You a stranger.
Right. It's nuts, bro.
It's a wild dynamic. I don't think I ever really thought about it. That was awesome to bring that up, man. I don't think I ever thought about that. And I always been fortunate enough to have both parents in the house. So like,
right. So you ain't had, you know what I'm saying, your dad ain't had no other kids outside the crib. So, and it's all, you know, it's you and mine. So like,
yeah, and that's funny. Like I told you, it took me going to college to realize somebody like, yeah, that's your half brother. I'm like, what is that?
See, right.
Like what is that half brother?
Had that been, but your dad could have always been your half brother, bro.
If you raised in the same house with me, we not half brothers.
No, that's a fact, bro.
I guess if you came out the same womb, we
right, and that's how it's treated. Like oh, that these kids all in here together is nasty, bro.
Yo, man, that's a loss for dads in that category. That's an L.
Big L.
Big L for that. No, man. You know, we gonna go ahead and get out of here. Thank you guys for listening. As always, the support has been unbelievable. Make sure you check out our merch. We have added to our online store. You know, support More Than a Dad. We have some stuff for the ladies. We always like to get women perspectives, so we got some More Than a Mom stuff in our store. So make sure you check it out.
Facts, cop up.
You know, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time.
Appreciate y'all.
More than a dot, more than a dot.